Hi there, everyone. My name is Mr. Vosters. I'm an engineering teacher, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to use the West Point Bridge Designer software. So you can use this software to design different types of bridges and test them out to see whether or not they can hold a truckload as it drives across it. So I just clicked the new design option, and then it gives you a little setup menu. So we're just going to click next from this screen. It'll go through some of the design requirements. Basically, we're creating a 2-lane highway across a river valley. We're going to try to keep the cost as low as possible. That's kind of the challenge of it. If you have a character, 6-character local contest code, you can enter it here. Usually for my students, I'll give them a code that gives them like a predefined set of circumstances where the bridge is already sort of built, or rather the riverbanks and the deck is kind of already set up for them. In this one, I'll just walk you through the different options you can customize. So you can have the deck elevation set, so we can set it down really low where it's kind of cut out from the valley. And notice as I'm changing these things, the site cost will change. So here there's a lot more excavation, but the deck on the other hand is smaller. So these are kind of trade-offs you would make when you're designing a bridge. We're just going to do, let's do 20 meters. You can add arch abutments or standard. We're just going to keep it standard here. You can add piers, and then you can add cable anchorages as well, depending on how you've got it set up. So if you have piers, maybe you have some anchorages. Notice the anchorages are kind of showing up over here, embedded in the riverbank. So we're going to go with no cable anchorages, no pier, and we'll do standard abutments, which gives us a site cost right now of $72,500. You can choose the different deck materials, so you can choose high strength concrete or medium strength. We'll choose high strength concrete, and then you can choose different loading conditions. We're just going to keep it standard here. You can click next, and then it allows you to select different templates, and these are all different types of trusses. So you'll notice that the deck trusses are always below the deck, and through trusses are going to be kind of above the deck where the vehicle is actually kind of driving through the truss itself. We'll start with let's just do a deck truss how. And we can click next. Here you'll want to put in your name. So I'll just do Mr. Vosters, and then you can give it a project ID. I usually just do my initials. Click next. It'll give you some tips on or some steps you can use to design the truss, and we'll click finish from there. So then it's going to pop up with our design interface here. If we try to run it, it's going to give us some warnings. It's going to say it's unstable because we haven't actually added any members to our truss. So first we have to add some joints. So we can use our template and we can just add the joints anywhere there's a little circle in our template. So I'll go ahead and do that. And then I can add my members. So up in the toolbar, you can switch it to members. And then I just click and drag from one joint to another. And I'm just copying this template, which was for a how deck truss. So I'll go through, do all these. Takes a little bit of time, but this is going to give us a really good starting point for designing our truss. We can always go back and modify to be a little bit different from this template, but this gives us a really good starting point, and it should be pretty easy to make this into a usable truss bridge. So now that I've got my template in place, I can click the test up here and I can go to show animation. Actually, I want to click load test. And by clicking show animation, I turned off the animation accidentally. So you can click up here and it should make your animation controls be turned on. And it looks like right away our bridge failed. So now we can go back to our design interface, and from here it'll actually highlight the members that failed. So it looks like this member number 4, 5, 6, and 7 all failed, and it'll actually kind of highlight them over here as well. If you hold down the shift key, you can highlight a whole bunch of different members as you click on them in the member list interface over here. So I can go through and click on any of these. It'll show them over here as I do that. If you want to click on individual members or a whole bunch of individual members, you can hold the control key on your keyboard and then you can kind of click around to select those. So that's a nice way to select multiple. Here, I can hold control, or if you want to just select a range, you can hold the shift key and it will highlight any in between the ones you click on. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to actually, since these are the ones that failed, I'm going to make them larger. So you can either use the drop down to select a bigger size. Right now they're 140 by 140, or you can click this little button over here. That will make them larger, or conversely, if you click the one here, it'll make them smaller. So since they failed, let's go ahead and make them larger. I'll bump them up to 170 by 170, and then I'm going to rerun my test. So it looks like, and we got a little green arrow here under our status, that right away will tell you whether or not it's going to pass or fail. And here, it looks like the design did pass its test. So if you're in this animation scene, you can click this little truck icon if you want, and it'll actually place you inside the truck as if you are riding across the bridge. You may be looking at this thinking, I wouldn't want to drive on this bridge because it's sagging so much. This is just an exaggeration of the actual deflection of the bridge. If you wanted to look at what it would realistically look like as the truck is driving over it, you can turn off exaggeration here, and you can see that it's hardly budging at all as we drive over it. So if I go back in my truck, it's a nice smooth ride across. Exaggeration is really helpful because it allows you to see where all that deformation is happening. So I like to keep it on when I'm testing. Okay, since this is working, let's go back, and now that we've got a working bridge, we kind of have a benchmark. So our cost right now is $335,897.36. If you click this calculator, it'll actually show you where all that cost is coming from. So right now, our material cost is quite large. It's $238,000 of our total cost, and it kind of shows you the calculation it did to get there. You also are charged for each connection. So every little pin joint that you have is $500. Here we have 20 joints per truss. So this is like a truss on the kind of front side, and there's another truss that's behind it. So there's really two of them. And then there's also a product cost. So each different type of bar that you have costs $1,000 as well. So from here, one good way to start reducing cost is to look at these columns here where it says compression force strength and tension force strength. So any of them that fail will be over a value of 1. So we can see the ones that are close to failure. This one has like a 0.88. You want to be looking at both columns. So obviously here you have 0.88, and then for tension it has a value of 0. So usually it's going to be one or the other. But as long as neither of them are above 1, there's a chance we may be able to make that a member a little bit smaller. So we want to start right away looking for ones that are pretty low numbers in either column and start making those smaller. So I'm just going to highlight a few of them that are below like 0.5 in both columns. So here we have a few. This one's 0.91, so I'm going to avoid that one. This one's 0.47, 0.17. So there's quite a few right away that are all below 0.5. And I'm just going to go ahead and, once I highlight all of them, I can make them all smaller. And 0.5 is just a threshold I'm using to start. Eventually, you want to try to get those, in order to save money, as close to 1 as possible without going over. So there we go. Those are all below 0.5 in both columns, I believe. So let's go ahead and just, once we've got them all highlighted using the control key, let's go ahead and decrease the size. We'll bounce them down to, let's go to 110 and just see if that works. You can already see our cost. We saved $50,000. So if this works, we've already saved ourselves a lot of money. So now I can click the load test animation, and it looks like right away I know this is going to fail. But that's okay. We can go back. It's kind of a trial and error process, and we had just 3 of them have failed. So even though we made a bunch of them smaller, most of them worked except for these 3. So let's go ahead and highlight all of those, and then we'll just bump those back up a little bit, maybe up to 130, not the full 140. Let's go ahead and run it again. So we've still saved a lot of money. We're at 295, and we have the green arrow, which means our truck is going to drive across successfully. Okay, let's go back here, and you want to just kind of repeat this process. So looking for ones that are still pretty low. These ones are all, maybe now we're looking for ones that are below like 0.7. And we'll see if we can make those a little bit smaller still. And you'll just do this, kind of repeat it until you get to a bridge that fails. And once you have kind of the cheapest bridge possible, there's a couple other things I'll talk about that you can try in order to keep reducing your costs. And you should be able to get this down pretty low at the end of the day. So here you notice there is no size listed because I've chosen ones that are different sizes. So by choosing all different ones, it's not going to choose it, but you can just make them all one size smaller by clicking this decrease size button. So let's go ahead and test and see if that still works. So we're down to 284. Looks like we're still good here. Our status is green. So that's one technique you can use. Another technique is you can change the material. So I'm not going to get into it in this video, but when you're really starting to try to get every penny out of this bridge, you're going to want to look into choosing different materials. And some of these are a lot stronger than your basic carbon steel. Another thing you can use instead of the solid bar is hollow tube. And hollow tubes are going to have a lot higher moment of inertia. And what that means is it's going to be much less susceptible to deformation when it's in compression. So if you have compression members, especially, those may benefit from being hollow tubes instead of solid bars. And obviously those are going to weigh less because they're hollow. So that may affect your cost calculations too. Because remember, this is being calculated by kilogram. So even though it's more expensive per product, it may still come out being cheaper. So you want to play around with that as well. And then one last thing I wanted to point out before you finish this video is there's actually a lot of helpful pages on this help section. So if I pull this up right away, if you go to like some of the overview things, it'll explain how to use the bridge designer. Not like this one where it says overview, how to design a bridge. And if you go down to some of these things in the flowchart, they can give you really helpful tips on ways that you can reduce the cost or optimize the shape of your truss. So here, if you click on this one, like our member properties optimum, and click on here, it'll go through a lot of helpful information. I know there's a lot of text here, but if you take the time to read through it, you can really start to get to that optimized cost. So it goes through and talks about a lot of helpful things there. If I go back to my flowchart, you also have, is the shape of the truss optimum? And it actually will give you some examples of ways to maybe change the shape of your truss. So don't be afraid to go on those help pages when you really get to sort of squeezing every single penny out of this design. And then it'll even talk about truss configuration. So maybe if you start with a worn through truss, how can you optimize that? So it gives you some examples down here. So I'd recommend once you're really getting kind of stuck, trying to look for extra ways to save money, I would look at the help page because there's a lot of good stuff in there beyond what I talked about in this video. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully that helped you learn how to use West Point Bridge Designer a little bit. Thanks for watching.